Hello, today I'm going to talk about the Lewis & Clark carbon fibre violin. A few people have asked me to just say what I found out about it, and you might be thinking about buying one, so here's a little bit of the lowdown that I've discovered with it. The reason why I bought a carbon fibre violin is because I live in Dubai. Sometimes I might get asked to do gigs outside, and with your precious wooden instrument in the extreme heat and humidity that we get here versus air-conditioned building, it's just it's too dodgy. You're just thinking, oh no, I don't want to risk my violin, with opening or getting cracks or anything. So I did a little bit of research online. There are quite a few carbon fibre violins, but I chose the Lewis & Clark because it is made of one piece. Okay, it doesn't look like it. This looks like it's separate, but actually it's not. It's molded one piece here, and as you can see, the neck, it's all part of the same thing. So there's nothing here that can come unstuck or anything. So great, you think fantastic. Here we go. A couple of things that I've had to change because just one thing and another didn't really suit me. First thing was the neck. I don't know if you can quite see, but on the neck here, it's so shiny like this when you get it, that it doesn't feel comfortable for shifting. It just kind of get a bit stuck. And if you're not used to a varnish on your neck, then you might want to do what I did, which was just very fine sandpaper. Just sandpaper it down a little bit, and it doesn't hurt the image of it, just makes it like a bit more matte compared to the shininess. And then it just feels nice. So that's the first thing. Next thing, sound. When I tried it out, it sounds really, really loud, but under the ear. Not from a distance, but under your ear, it sounds really loud. And I found that the D was sounding very, very boomy, but the E was very, very dark, so it wasn't balanced. So, of course, you think, let's change strings, let's have an experiment with strings. Still, same thing, no difference really, very minimalistic. So then Paul Gerrish up in Woodbridge in UK, he made for me a new sound post. The original one that it comes with is just a sound post with 7 grain. He made one for me with 9 grain, so it's going to do its job more efficiently. He put it in the normal place, like you would probably about there-ish, and it sounded worse. It was just like going in on itself. I mean, it's like, whoa, that's going against everything. So then, unlike wood, of course, this can withstand a lot of tension, a lot of pressure. We moved it around, and what you would never do is put a sound post directly underneath the bridge, but however, I don't know if you can just about see that, the sound post there is right underneath this foot, and suddenly we got a balanced sound. So that's the first thing, nice balanced sound, no boominess, great stuff. So it was good to go, so I thought. It comes with pegs that are geared pegs. They're metal, and you think, well, that should be no issue, except, as I say, I live in quite extremes of temperature here. So I went from an air-conditioned car outside into the heat, and then inside again to an air-conditioned rehearsal room. Tuned my violin, no problem. The minute heavy brass started sounding, vibrations went through the violin, and 2 of the pegs just unravelled, just like that. So that was a bit strange. I was thinking, well, it shouldn't happen with geared pegs. Did a lot of mucking about with it. And then I decided that perhaps because they are made of metal, and metal has got quite a lot of expansion and whatever, that I would want traditional pegs fitted. Lewis & Clark themselves said don't do that. You know, they don't like any sort of changes anyway, but they were advising not to. They said it would destroy their violin anyway. Back to Paul Gerrish, who was a bit nervous about working with carbon fibre, but as you can see, he's fitted me traditional pegs. Lovely, no problem. They've come out a little bit because of just, you know, having to push it in a bit when they have become in a cold environment. But the wood of the pegs seems to react better with the carbon fibre. The metal just seemed too way out. If you're just going to be playing in a temperate climate, I'm sure that you might not have any issues with it. But for me now, that's great. These just super like normal pegs. And anyway, the tailpiece it comes with has got these fine tuners on anyway, so I'm very rarely having to mess around with the top anyway. Yes, you'll see, I don't know if you can see, I've had to put little bits of chamois leather, and I've also got some cotton wool that I coloured black in there. This is because, once again, the heat and then the cold, anything metal touching is going to react. And I got this amazing, horrible buzz. And I thought, how can I have that when there was nothing open? Took the chin rest off, it stopped. So then I decided, right, okay, let's just stop any contact with metal straight away onto the carbon fibre. And that's what I've done. So I've had to do quite a lot of modification, but I'm happy to say it's all right. Now, the thing is, it sounds absolutely fine. I've used it for recording, I've used it for outside gigs. It's very comfortable to play. But still, I don't think it has the same timbre, the same clarity of sound as this wooden violin is 1895 Bohemian violin. There's nothing amazingly special by the make of it, but it's got the power and everything. When you play one of these, you feel like, wow, it's got the power. But once you sit with people in an orchestra, it just blends, totally blends, which is fine for orchestral playing. But if you want to use it as a solo instrument, I don't think it would carry. But it's absolutely fit for purpose for me out here. When I'm teaching, I take this one because I really don't mind if I'm going from one environment to the other. If I've got my teaching room door open and the AC's blowing cold on it and the heat's coming in, I'm not going to worry because it can withstand the heat, no problem. So how do they sound? Okay, well, I'll show you now. I'll play something very sort of basic on both the instruments, just to give you the range from the G to the E string. So I'm going to use the same bow for both, just so that there's no bias, you know, as to one's better than the other. So I'm just using a nice wooden bow. The other thing, I've got exactly the same strings on. These are Tomastic Vision. Okay, so, I don't know, let's just... Alright. It's got a darker sound, as I'm sure you can tell, and it's very nice for if you're playing on your own and that, but it will get lost. It really does get lost. The tone won't change. This is the difference as well. With a wooden instrument, of course, the more you play it, the more it opens. With the carbon fibre, this is the thing, once you've sorted out your tone that you want out of it, that is it. That it's not going to get any better. But I've managed, as I say, to get it to be, I think, quite balanced on all four strings now. This has just got that something extra though. I think it's just got a bit more clarity and perhaps a little bit more treble. But anyway, last thing, you will notice that your normal thickness here, it's quite thin on the Lewis and Clark, this here. I don't know if you can tell. So, I mean, it's minimalistic, but it's probably about a millimetre, maybe millimetre and a half thinner than this. So you might find, like for instance, I quite like these shoulder rests, but it's not high enough for this. So I've had to go back to the Wolf, which is absolutely fine, no problem. I hope that's helped. It's a nice instrument. I'm very happy with it, but as I say, don't think it's going to be your primary wow factor instrument. It's a good second. Thank you.